The Eagles might be inching closer to figuring out who their offensive coordinator may be. And while that's dividing Eagles Nation, as we talked about yesterday, now there's something else to worry about. What was Adam Schefter hinting at yesterday? I don't know. We're going to find out. We're going to discuss what did Adam Schefter mean, where there might be more news than just the OC coming. Trending the AM, talking Eagles, talking Phillies, talking Sixers, talking Flyers, whatever you want to cover. We're live in 30 seconds. And a very good morning, everybody, and welcome all to Trending in the AM, right here on the STT Sports Network. We are live, as we always are, YouTube and Twitter, Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. for 90-plus minutes of sports talk, taking your thoughts and opinions. It is free to do. Please, wherever you're watching, live, or if you're watching this later on replay, it still helps. Hit the like button on your screen, share this out, and, of course, subscribe to the STT Sports Network. Finally, we finally hit that 1,000 mark. But now it's time to start pushing forward to 2,000 and 3,000 and 4,000 subscribers. The only way that happens is with your help. Hit the like, share, subscribe button. And if you're watching this on replay, drop your comments on everything here. I will respond to every single replay comment and to the entire replay gang. Guys, I'm Phil Stiefel. And we got lots to get into today, but we've got to start with the poll question of the day. What could Adam Schefter have been hinting at as breaking Eagles news to come soon? Adam Schefter was on 97.5 The Fanatic yesterday morning for his normal weekly appearance, and when the interview was over, John Kincaid said, well, we'll see you next week and hopefully be having our answer at offensive coordinator. Adam Schefter, as he was saying goodbye, dropped a little nugget, basically saying, well, we might be talking more than just that next week. So, Eagles Nation, rampant with rumors. Everybody's got an opinion. What could it be? What could he be talking about? Option A on the poll today, Lane Johnson's retirement. Option B, Vic Fangio retirement. Option C, a new stadium incoming. Or option D, which already has 22% of the vote coming, other, which we don't even know what the other is. I know fans want it to be a firing of some kind, but we'll see. That's the poll question. We've got to get into it. Let's get right to some of these comments right away. Good morning, Adam. I think it's an Uncle Vic retirement. Then I saw McDermott turn down a coaching position so he could come here and be the DC. Look, I would be shocked if Uncle Vic retires at this point. If Uncle Vic Fangio retires after losing Christian Parker to Dallas, that tells me it wasn't expected, wasn't planned. To me, like, my mind always goes negative. Maybe something's wrong with Uncle Vic if that's the case, because if he was contemplating retirement, he would have done it or discussed it with Parker and the Eagles before they lost Christian Parker. So I'm hoping it's not the Vic Fangio, because if that comes up at this point of the offseason, to me that scares me that maybe something's wrong. So I'm hoping that Vic Fangio is not the answer. Good morning, RW. Have you seen the reports of Jeff McClain, Stoutland being demoted? Yes. Those reports came out late yesterday. Jeff McClain of the Inquirer reporting that Jeff Stoutland did at some point last season have the run game coordinator title taken and role taken from him so he can focus on the O-line. And Stoutland is seeming to be committed to this, so that's interesting. You know what's interesting about this is the simple fact that the Eagles don't give us anything all year long, ever. Right? So they were trying to fix the offense last year. We think they were just letting it fall apart, right? They tried to make adjustments. Obviously not the right adjustments, not enough adjustments, not soon enough adjustments, but they were trying to make adjustments last year. They just don't tell us everything. Good morning, Robert. How you doing this morning? Elephant in the room today. How you doing? Shitty Schefter. You know what? I love this, Big Al. Yes, it was very shitty of Adam Schefter to drop a little nugget like that on the radio with no other backup to it, with no other information, knowing that Eagles fans are just going to be stir crazy. We're already trapped in our houses with the cold weather and all the snow, maybe more snow coming. Now we're just going to percolate these rumors. Content creators are going to say, our sources say, for like the next 4, 5, 6 days. It was kind of actually really shitty of Adam Schefter to say that. I think the big Eagles news next week isn't a real thing. I actually do. I actually think it will be option C on the poll question. I think it'll be an announcement of a new stadium up where the Franklin Mills Mall used to be. I know that property's been for sale for a while, and I know the Eagles have been linked to it for a little while, and I know Jeffrey Lurie has been linked to wanting to build a new stadium already for a while. I don't know if you saw this, elephant in the room. The Eagles were, I think it was second to last in the league in overall attendance this past season. I know they only had 8 home games versus 9, but that stadium has a capacity of what, 60K? 61K? And there's a long, long list of people that want season tickets. If he wanted to go out there and build a new stadium, put 85,000 seats in it, he'd have it sold out every single week still. So I think that could be what it is. Good morning to everyone. Yes, it's over, Nick Bros. Look, obviously there's going to be a lot of rumors circulating, a lot of things getting pushed out there that the breaking news is that through all these interviews, they now have to fire Nick Sirianni. Through all these interviews, they got to fire Jeff Stoutland. Through all these interviews, they got to trade Jalen Hurts. It's not the case. It's absolutely not the case. Okay? It's not they have a trade for A.J. Brown. Not yet. Okay? Just so you know. There's going to be so many Eagles rumors like this over the next 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 days till whatever it is breaks. But it's not going to be Nick Sirianni getting fired. Fangio is not going anywhere. Well, look, I doubt Vic Fangio is going anywhere. Vic Fangio wanted this to be his last stop. I know some people are speculating that maybe he's going to retire. And at some point, Vic Fangio is going to retire. He's an older guy, Robert. But unless it was a spur of the moment because he got ill or because I don't know what it is. I'd be shocked if it was Vic Fangio. Why? Because they would have known by now. They wouldn't have let Christian Parker leave the building. They wouldn't have let Clint Hurt take interviews if it was Vic Fangio. If you do the logical breakdown of the offseason, it can't be Vic Fangio unless something serious has transpired over the last 24 to 48 hours. Rick, good morning to you. Yes, I fully believe the nugget that Adam Schefter dropped is 100% stadium related. I know Jeffrey Lurie has been talking about this for a while now. He has been. So, you know, he wants, whether it's a dome or not, I would love it to be a dome. I would go to more Eagles games if it was a dome. I think all stadiums that are built from here on out should have at least a retractable dome, if not a dome completely. Would be 100% on board with that. I know a lot of fans won't be on board with the stadium news, or with the dome stadium. I know they love the elements. I hate the elements. I don't like seeing championship games like this past weekend affected by weather. Okay? So I hope it is. And Dome Stadium brings so much more into the city. Revenue-wise, you could do so many more events, WrestleMania, Super Bowls, concerts in the wintertime. You could do so much more and make so much more money if you put a dome on it. Nick Sirianni is not going anywhere, Robert. And any Eagles fan that tries to tell you that that is what the rumor is, I give you full permission to laugh in their face and call them names. Nick and Vic ain't leaving. It would be very, very unlikely, Rick. It would be. It would be extremely, extremely unlikely that is it. But you know Eagles fans, you know the media is going to stir the pot. And the Eagles fans are going to believe it. And that's always the biggest problem, right? That Eagles fans buy into the bogus, reporting from the media. And that's what's going to happen. That's just the way it is, right? We know what our fan base is like. They are driven by negativity from the media. We know that. We know that. I think the stadium is the news. I agree. I did ask Jimbo to use his realtor connections today from the chat to find out if there's any pending purchases, through his connections on the Franklin Mills Mall property. So I did tell Jimbo to do his work for the group chat here, okay? He's a realtor. He's got those connections in business. I asked him to do some research today. So maybe we can get that Franklin Mills Mall news sooner than anybody else. They want a dome to host a Super Bowl. Who wouldn't want to host a Super Bowl, right? Why wouldn't you want a Super Bowl? The amount of money you make on the Super Bowl. You could do a lot of things. You can host the Super Bowl. They can host more draft parties, or drafts, in the city and not worry about the weather. They can host, maybe they can steal the combine from Indy. You can do so much once you put a dome on your stadium. If Fangio retires, we are stranded in an ocean of feces with no wind and no paddles. Like, I don't know about stranded. It would be difficult if Vic Fangio retired and you didn't have Christian Parker to take over, because then you'd be going out and getting a Jim Schwartz or a Sean McDermott, and they'd run a completely different style, and this defense has been built for Vic Fangio. So, the last time we hired a Fangio disciple in Sean Desai, it didn't work out. So it would be extremely, 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 extremely difficult for the Eagles going forward if Vic Fangio did retire. I don't think it is. Like I said, if it's Vic Fangio, then something massively crazy in his personal life has happened that'll make him want to retire. That's just my opinion. I heard a lot of chatter about getting rid of Joel with the way he's playing now, so we can get rid of his contract. I disagree. I want to keep him and see Maxey, him, and VJ play out the year. Look, that's a fair Sixers question. We got the Sixers on the agenda today as well. I'm hearing Joel Embiid chatter as well. I mean, the trade deadline's the 5th, next Thursday, a week from today, right? Today's Thursday, right? Yeah, today's Thursday. A week from today is the NBA trade deadline. So here's the thing with trading Joel Embiid. He's playing his best, trying to get out from that contract. One, what are you going to get for Joel Embiid, right? You're going to get other bad contracts, and you're not getting first-round picks for him. 3 weeks of good play isn't going to get you the haul that you should get from a future Hall of Famer. Now, I will say this. I also do not want to trade for Giannis. Sixers fans all are pining to pair up that big three of Giannis, Tyrese, and Joel. I'm not giving up on VJ for Giannis for a future Hall of Famer. But if you could get something for Joel, I understand why Sixers fans want to get rid of that contract. If you could just get rid of the contract and get no picks and get nothing but expiring contracts, I understand the thought process. But me, I'm going down with the sinking ship. I'm going to ride it out till the ship sinks, till it's at the bottom of the ocean with the Titanic. You might as well. No greatness is going to come. So if you keep Joel for the next 3 years, you got Joel in his contract and the fear of his knees. You get rid of him, you don't have Joel, and it's not like you're going to get a high-end first-round pick to replace him with. So you really don't gain anything other than not have him to talk about over the next 3 years. Schefter don't care about stadium. He does news. Schefter knows what he does. Schefter's a smart guy. He knows that little nugget was going to get people chatting and talking about him. Retractable roof would be so good. I would be fine with a retractable roof. That's fine. It might be that Lane Johnson's retirement. I would say out of the options that have been presented, it would be a new stadium or Lane Johnson retiring. Now, Lane Johnson, great that you bring him up because we haven't talked about him yet. Lane Johnson, before last year, said he had 2 to 3 more years. So that would mean he's got 1 to 2 more years after this year. On one side, I could not see Lane Johnson wanting to go out and have 2025 be his last year the way it went, right? I wouldn't want to see, I would doubt he would want to be his last season being 9 straight games missed, right? But on the flip side, for Lane Johnson to miss 9 games, the injuries and the recovery from the injuries have to be really getting to him. We already know Lane Johnson suffers from mental illnesses. Maybe it's just becoming too much for him. And that would be a massive, massive loss if he just ups and retires without us having his replacement ready to go. I still think Stadium would be the top option on what this news means. Lane Johnson would be second. Vic Fangio would be third, in my opinion. Elements add to the game. I get it, and I know why people feel that. Personally, I hate elements, because I don't like the cold. But, Rick, at the very least, when you have championship games, they already host the Super Bowl in a neutral site. I know you don't want to host championship games in neutral sites either. But you can't tell me that the weather does not affect the outcome of a game. In this day and age, it shouldn't happen. Elements shouldn't affect anything. There's no need for it. Okay? Then all the elements do is add excuses to the losers. Would they want to move from the complex? I thought they were building that up. Yes and no. So from what I've read about the build-up, one of the proposals that I had read about like a couple of months ago, Big Al, and I forget who did it. It wasn't Crossing Broad. It was a site like them. Is that the Phillies and Sixers are trying to build it up. Okay? Or not the Sixers, Xfinity and whatever. They're the organizations that are trying to build it up. And I did read a report that they hoped the Eagles would move away so they have more space there to knock Lincoln Financial Field down and build more up there. Okay? So they want the Lincoln Financial Field property to do more. Gannon was a disciple. Yeah, Gannon was a disciple of Vic Fangio as well. There's a lot of Vic Fangio disciples out there, right? Like I already suggest. Obviously, Gannon took a job. Where was it? I forget. It was in my notes. But I would have brought back Jonathan Gannon. I would have, not in his DC, but as an assistant role. I want Joel to finish his career here. Yeah, he might as well. At this point, he might as well. Yeah, no thanks to Giannis anyway either. It's just. If Daryl Morey went out and made a big, bold move for Giannis, it's going to cost you VJ Edgecombe, and that'll be a big mistake. You're not getting Giannis for Jarrett McCain and 1 draft pick. It's going to be, first off, you got to come up with the $50 million or $60 million, whatever it is, in a trade to match salaries. So you're probably giving up Paul George, which, whatever. You want to get rid of Paul George? Is there that much of a difference between Paul George and Giannis at this point in their careers? Maybe a little bit, but not much. So you're doing Paul George, you're doing VJ Edgecombe, the Clippers' first-round pick in 2027, and probably the 2030 first-round pick. That's probably what a Giannis trade costs you. And I think that's a crazy overpay for somebody that probably wouldn't work out. And plus, Giannis next to Joel Embiid is not a good tandem. They both will clog up that middle so much. Schefter announcing a civil commitment ceremony with Mike Garofalo. What? Maybe Lane announces this is his last year. Maybe that's what it is. Maybe it's not as big of a deal. Maybe it's Lane Johnson saying, I'm going to give it one more go, and that's it. I mean, that would be the best case scenario out of this, announcement or comment or rumor mill that is circulating. Have we become that soft? I mean, when it comes to weather, Rick, I've been soft since the second I've been born when it comes to weather. I have hated the elements since day one of my life. All right? I don't like it when it's cold. I don't like the snow. I don't want to sit outside in the rain. I have done all of it. The last Eagles, no, it wasn't the last Eagles game. But the last Eagles game I went to with elements involved. It was a Monday night or a Sunday night football game against the Giants in 2019. It was Carson Wentz had to lead a huge comeback. It was freezing rain out. It was late December. And I was just miserable as fudge, okay? Miserable, because I hate it. I hate it. Maybe they move the Eagles and build the Sixers stadium. Maybe. Maybe that's what it is. But I really think the stadium is most likely what they're going to be talking about. Maybe that's why they dropped the stadium move last year. Yeah, actually, that's a good point. Maybe that is. Maybe what they're doing is they're saving the stadium news. New stadium's going to be exciting, right? More seats, more season tickets, more this and that. changes. It's going to be a new stadium will be a talking point, right? They know this offense coordinator search is dragging on and frustrating fans, which it shouldn't. Just be patient with the OC search, right? And we might be getting very close to a new OC. So maybe what they're going to do is they're going to announce the new OC. They know Sean Mannion or Jim Bob Cooter might not be the sexy pick that fans like. So then what they'll do is they'll announce the OC, then 24 hours later announce the stadium, and everyone will forget about the new OC. Maybe. I hate it. I don't lie about that. If I never saw a temperature below 80 degrees again in my life, Rick, I would be the happiest man alive. Do you think Hurts gets fired? I'm just teasing, chilling. Yeah. No, but see, here's the thing, Marshawn. When Adam Schefter drops a little nugget like he did, you've got the Jalen Hurts haters saying it's going to be about him. You got the Nick Sirianni haters saying it's going to be him. Once you put a nugget with no actual backup or lean one way or another, you're instantly going to get the haters to come out and say that that's what it is. You know, the most popular isn't about Jalen Hurts. The most popular that I'm hearing, you know, of the crazy comments about this Adam Schefter situation is that it is going to be Nick Sirianni getting fired. That through this process of interviewing OC candidates, that they realize that Nick Sirianni's terrible and no one wants to work with him. So they're just going to fire him. That is the most popular rumor running right now. And it's crazy. It's insane. That's right, Packers. I know he got signed as a DC. I just forgot where. They would make Morey the villain again. That would make trading VJ Edgecombe. Yeah, absolutely. And look, I've tried my best to give Daryl Morey the credit he deserves for the offseason. I've given Daryl Morey the credit he deserves for the draft. But I've said it on countless times. Daryl Morey, the big, bold trade guy, still scares me. Daryl Morey, the guy that likes to swing for the fences, a trade for Giannis probably appeases him or excites him to a point he'd actually consider it. Paul George, McCain, and 5 first-round picks, which includes all the Clippers picks for 1 or 2 years of service, I would do it and makes us closer to hanging a banner. I don't think Giannis gets us closer to hanging a banner. Because you trade, first off, they wouldn't want McCain. They'd want VJ Edgecombe. Okay? Secondly, Giannis and Joel Embiid, I think, would be a terrible tandem on the court, offensively speaking. You're going to get even more three-point shots from Joel Embiid than ever before. I just don't think it'd be good. I don't. Embrace the elements. Never. You will never, ever, ever see me embrace the elements. Unless the elements are a massive heat wave. If you enjoy the cold as a regular 35-plus male, then you are better than me. Exactly. I haven't enjoyed, I occasionally I talk about my cruise ship days, right? Working on a cruise ship for almost 2 years of my life. For those almost 2 years, I never saw a temperature below 80 degrees. Never. And it was the greatest 2-year stretch of my life. Loved it. I hate rain, love it for my plants, but hate it for me. I hate the rain too. I really do. How does not liking inclement weather make someone soft? Because Rick thinks we're all soft in general in life. Would you rather be a tropical island with perfect weather or hanging out at the North Pole? Well, you know, Dallas soft, Philly ain't. That has nothing to do with this whatsoever. ESPN at noon is a must today. Koepka's return to the PGA Tour. The first time it will air a non-major PGA Tour event in 20 years. Place those bets. Yes, Farmers Insurance Open today kicks off. There's a lot of golf news, and I wish the viewers cared a little bit about golf, Steve, with Patrick Reed now returning as well. Kevin Na, guys, Hudson Swafford. LIV is slowly falling apart. Slowly but surely, the nails are being put into LIV, right? And we did cover LIV Golf when it first formed on this show 3-4 years ago when the audience was smaller and whatnot. I'm excited more and more every day for this PGA Tour season. And I love it. And I love that Patrick Reed's going to be back. Because Patrick Reed might be a villain in most eyes, but you know what? I always root for the villain. Well, this we can agree on. We might not agree on the softness, but we agree fire Dave Dombrowski. I love VJ, but if Giannis trade is on the table, I would do it for a banner. But you think going and getting Giannis and losing Paul George and VJ makes you a title contender? I don't know. First and foremost, let me repeat this part here, Marshawn. No team has ever traded for a superstar player mid-season and won a title. So you're writing off the rest of this year. If that's the case, you might as well just sit Joel Embiid and get him healthy for next year. And Giannis. I don't know if trading for Giannis wins us a title. Morning, Lil G. You don't think Giannis makes us closer to a banner. Your hate for Daryl is clouding your judgment. Has nothing to do with that. I think the pairing of Giannis and Joel, both down low, they're going to both run into each other down low. So you're going to see a lot more three-pointers from Joel Embiid. Florida's cold. Yeah, Florida, look, I saw somebody post that Florida's going to have temperatures in the 20s tonight. Is that a tropical island during hurricane season? Give me a hurricane over a snowstorm any day. Weather fear makes you soft. Who said we fear weather? We don't like bad weather. It's just not what we like. So I'm soft because I like something that you don't like. You're soft for not being open-minded to other people's opinions. If so, fuck that. Go find Santa and make it help. No. Congrats. Thank you very much. Yes. We did finally hit 1,000 subscribers last night. Not only that, we blew past it. We are now at 1,004 coming into this morning subscribers. Let me check here if we've gained any more. Guys, please hit the like button. Just because we crossed the 1,000 marker doesn't mean you don't have to hit the like button or share button or subscribe and tell friends. Now the goal is to get to 2,000, 3,000, 10,000, 100,000. I want 100,000 plaque behind me. But thank you to each and every one of you in the Core 12. Thank each and every one of you that have been there since day one with me, guys. Hitting 1,000 subscribers has been a goal of mine. I didn't hit it by the end of 2025 like I wanted. It took 29 extra days, 28 extra days, whatever. It means a lot to me. It validates that outside of just the Core 12, that people do enjoy a different form of sports talk, that being a rage baiter, being a clickbaiter does not have to be the way you succeed in this game. So I am very, very happy. I'm very, very grateful. I'm very, very thankful for each and every one of you. I really, truly am. So I couldn't have gotten here without each and every one of you guys. So thank you. Now on to 2,000, right? Let's go on to 2,000 subscribers now. Did you see the top 10 left fielders list? Look, I think Brandon Marsh is fair to be number 10 on the top 10 left fielders. Brandon Marsh, statistically speaking, if you just look at his stats, is a solid outfielder. He gets a bad rep. Is he great? No. Is he bad? No. He's okay. Right? But statistically, he's better than just okay. It's just he comes up small in certain moments. Good morning, Duck. I hope you're feeling better. I know you were sore yesterday from your slip and fall. It could be about a new stadium. I absolutely think it's the new stadium. The Rockets traded for Clyde Drexler midseason and won a championship. Clyde was the second best shooting guard at the time to MJ. All right, so that was what, like 1497? All right, so it's been about 500 years since it's worked out that way. Sixers need someone who can rebound the ball, and they tried to trade Drummond. It makes no sense, Adam. None whatsoever. What's up, Barb? Good morning to you. Adam Schefter said the Eagles are making a big move soon, and hiring an OC would not be considered a big move. Yeah, that's the topic of the day. And that's why the poll question, Barbara, is listed as it is. I really, truly think it's going to be a nothing. It's going to be a new stadium announcement, which is absolutely, good news. I doubt it's Vic Fangio retiring, or maybe it's Lane Johnson. It's not going to be Nick Sirianni fired or A.J. Brown traded. None of that. But it'll probably just be a stadium. Giannis is washed up. I don't know if Giannis is washed. Is he superstar MVP elite Giannis? Maybe. Guys, if you haven't, hit the like button. We're not at 18 anymore. I'm a little behind on comments right now. But guys, there's definitely not enough likes on the video. Please hit the like button. Please subscribe. Please share it out. The work never stops. So please, please, click those buttons. It is free to do. It costs you nothing to support this show. Soft is crazy. At least I'm warm indoors. Yes, exactly. I know I'm soft. I never claimed I wasn't soft. Soft. S-A-W-F-T. Soft. Yeah. No more likes. We did our part. Stop it. Until we stop. Yeah, you guys. Yes, we hit it. Finally. Andrew Painter sucks. That's just a basic claim that you have no factual data on for it. No more likes until we get Tanner McKee. That's right. Okay. Now that's good. Still sore. That sucks. Getting old and falling sucks. Let me just say that. Still trying to do some insider trading. How am I insider trading? I ain't insider trading anything. Outfield position sucks nowadays. You might be right on that. No, but ice is bad out there. I almost went down myself. Yeah, look. Every second of shoveling my driveway. Every second of shoveling my driveway almost fell. So many times. We are still building for the future with Sixers. I want a banner. Okay. And look, I get it. I get it. I want a banner too. I want a payoff to the process, to the decade-plus long error of Joel Embiid in the process. I want that banner too. I'm just saying, you want to propose a different superstar trade? Be my guest. I don't think Giannis and Joel Embiid side by side brings us that title. If anything, maybe a Giannis, Maxey, George group, maybe trading Joel away to bring in Giannis gives us a better chance at a title. I just don't think the two of them paired together at the 4 and 5 makes sense because you're going to see a lot of Joel Embiid point shooting. Way more than ever before. I don't think that would work. Maybe Jeffrey Lurie is selling the team. I'd highly doubt that. Maybe Jeffrey Lurie's retiring and turning his ownership duties over to his son, what's his name, Julian. Maybe that's part of it. But I doubt Jeffrey Lurie would sell the team yet. It's way too much money. What is a new Eagles stadium? There's been rumors of the Eagles wanting to build a new stadium for a little while now, and the Franklin Mills Mall has closed, and that property's been for sale for a while. I'm hoping Jimbo, let me check my phone. No messages from Jimbo yet. I told him to look into it to see if the property's pending yet. We'll see if he gets that information for me today. But they have wanted a new stadium for a while. They want a higher seating capacity, and they want to get away from the sports complex. So, yeah. Back in the day, outfield was where a lot of offense came from, especially in the corners, and then you had guys bopping 40 from center like Griffey Jr., Jim Edmonds. Don't forget Brady Anderson as well. Doesn't exist anymore. I don't know why. I always like to throw Brady Anderson in there. No podcast today. Oh, what am I going to do? How am I going to fall asleep tonight? Your podcast puts me to sleep on Thursday nights. I guess I'll just have to drink more. Painter's numbers show it. Painter's numbers were in AAA, coming back from Tommy John surgery, not writing Andrew Painter off. Not yet. I think will he be great? Time will tell. He could be. He might not be. But just like you can't write off Jahad Campbell after 1 year, you can't write Andrew Painter off before his first year. That's just silly to do. Injured while shoveling snow, you may be entitled to compensation. Do you know a lawyer? Oh, that would be great. That'd be great. Why didn't any of you go on his show yesterday and trash talk, tell him I was trash talking him? I actually went and popped in to see if any of you guys were actually watching. And I saw Pump Man in there, drooling all over Big Sills yesterday. What team would give up anyone of note for Embiid? No one would. No one would. I was just giving a comparison to Marshawn, thinking that Embiid and Giannis would work well together. I think it would work better together without them together. Greek Freak ruins Sixers' current chemistry. I agree. I agree with that 100%. Good morning, Bruce. How you doing this morning? Howie's contract is expiring. There will be a Howie Roseman groundbreaking extension announcement. I don't actually know when Howie's contract's up. I'm going to write that down in my notes to actually look up when his contract up. Maybe there's a new contract coming for Howie Roseman. Maybe there's a new contract with a partial ownership put into it, maybe. A lifetime contract, maybe. New stadium does mean higher. Ticket prices are already out of my budget anyway. Another reason why I don't go to too many games is because who can afford to go to a sporting event anyway anymore? Who can afford it, right? I know I can't. I mean, I'm unemployed right now. Yes, we did it. We hit the 1,000 mark last night. We actually got to 1,004 to start the day. Have we gained any new subscribers during this show yet? Probably not, but let's just refresh it. Let's see. No, we're still sitting at 1,004, which is fine. We're there. We're there. Now it's on to 2,000, 3,000, 4,000, 40,000. The takeover is there. Maybe Schefty is just effing with us. I mean, very well could be. Schefty's trolled occasionally. He's trolled Philly sports fans occasionally. Schefty knows the world of, clickbait. He understands clickbait. He does. He absolutely understands it all. We're there. We're there. I am not drunk with power. Not drunk with power. I'm sober with power. I'm sober in the morning, not drunk. Do you get YouTube perks for 1K? Yeah, so you get YouTube revenue, ad revenue. So every time an ad runs on your screen, I get a tenth of a penny from it or whatever it is. So, yes, there are perks. There's obviously super chats were activated at the 500 mark, YouTube revenue at the 1K mark. I can also start subscriber benefits, like you pay and be a member to the channel and do special shows just for members, which I don't believe in that. I don't want you guys paying me to do special shows or anything like that. I want to do it because I want to do it with you guys. I want everyone to enjoy the channel. Yeah, it's a tiring job. It is. Now I can focus on the content more, right? I'm still hoping for more subscribers. I'm still pushing for more subscribers. But now I don't have to say 1,000 times a day, subscribe, God damn it. Do you feel we will sign a top outfielder to play with Crawford and Marsh, or do you think Garcia will be good? So the first half, no, there are no more people getting signed. Maybe they add a back end, pitcher. Okay? Maybe. Maybe they do. Maybe they add another bench bat. I don't think they have a lefty off their bench at all. But that's it. The team you see is the team you see for the Phillies. Now, Adolis Garcia, do I think he will be good? I think he has been good in the past. Maybe Adolis Garcia has a rebound year, but he's got just as much of a chance of being Max Kepler bad as he does anything else. He's more likely to be Max Kepler bad than anything else. It is what it is. Our outfield is going to be one of the worst in baseball. My camera's on all my screens here. Maybe you had a thing on yours. Anybody else see my face go off the screen? Now you can afford some Eagles swag. I was looking at Eagles swag actually the other day. Got a lot of money in fan cash on Fanatics. If you're not using Fanatic Sportsbook, I got a link. You can sign up for it down below. But the thing is, you get free bucks to spend on gear on Fanatic's website. I got over $130 to spend on Fanatic's website right now. And I was looking at stuff. But, man, there's nothing good. Nothing good on their site that I really wanted. See Jim Schwartz quit the Browns. Has he officially quit? No. There's a lot of rumors that he is quitting. That sucks. It's the second or third time he's been passed over in Cleveland for a job. Look, if Vic Fangio was retiring, if that was the news, I would bring Jim Schwartz back in a heartbeat to BRDC. What's going on, Rob? How you doing this morning? With McCain getting back to form, I think Grimes, it's expendable now and will be moved next week. So, two things have to come with that. All right, is he eligible to be traded? Did he sign his contract early enough? Because you have to wait X amount of days after signing a contract until you could be traded. Like last year, we couldn't trade Paul George because the time frame from when we signed him till the trade deadline didn't meet that minimum days on a team. So I don't know if Grimes could be traded. Also, Grimes' one-year contract has a full no-trade clause. So to move him, he would have to approve it. So there's a lot of obstacles to trading Quinny Grimes. Now, McCain getting back into form, you got to see it more than once, okay? It was great what we saw from Jarrett McCain the other night. It's great for his confidence to see the ball go through the bucket a few times in a row. McCain will be the replacement for Grimes at the end of the year. But I think trading Grimes right now is a difficult thing to do. Maybe we could trade for somebody. I wish. But Dave Dombrowski, remember, Dave Dombrowski, and I quote, I am content with where the team is. Actually, I think we're pretty good. So Dave Dombrowski doesn't seem to be wanting to make any more moves. The picture's very good, and it didn't go. Yeah, I didn't see anything go off. Because I run it on a side screen, and I didn't see it go out. You said Cooter wasn't sexy. Did I? Look, it looks like the Eagles are going to go with Jim Bob Cooter or Sean Mannion. Both were in for second interviews. The only two known second interviews for the OC job. I think hiring Sean Mannion, taking the young kid, keeping Scott Leffler and Jeff Stoutland in their roles, hire Matt Nagy to be your offensive consultant or offensive game plan assistant, have a simple job that he can leave if he wants to take another job at any time. I think it's the smart play. I think it'll work. Take Mrs. S out for dinner, you cheapskate. What? I always do. Our love and support has ruined the viewing experience. Ads. Has it? Is there ads popping up as you're watching? I'm sorry, but if the Birds hired Jim Bob Cooter, the fountain flow endlessly. Oh, my God. What have we done? What do you mean, what have we done? Oh, because of ads. 13 likes. Guys, it's not enough likes. Hit the like button, subscribe, share, please. These early game injuries are killing Flyers down the stretch. Nothing left to hold a tie lately. Like, the Flyers are falling. They're falling fast, okay? Love watching McCain play. Dude is so happy to play. I agree. I love the energy. I love the vibe. I love the happiness. I do. My camera's not going out. But they have to bring up Bonk now. He isn't Jared Spurgeon, but he is good enough. Don't know who either of those guys are. Grimes can be moved from everything I'm reading. Okay, so I did read a no-trade clause. But I'll write it down. I'll put it in my notes for tomorrow. I thought I read he had a no-trade clause. But maybe he can't. Maybe he can be moved. No more likes and subscriptions. We will get ads on live stream. That's how I pay the bills. Ads on live streams. Now that's how I'll pay the bills. I thought Phil's camera was out too. Turned out I just closed my eyes. Oh. Open them up. Feel like Giannis would take a lot of the fun out of the locker room. That's very possible. You kick in the cord, Einstein. I am not. My camera is on, okay? Your phone might not work. They said they never offered anyone the job when they interviewed them. Exactly. So the OC search is still going on. The OC search hasn't settled yet, but also they've only had a second interview with two people, and that was yesterday. So the whole OC search thing has been blown out of proportion by the Eagles fans and nation, right? Has been blown out of proportion by the media, right? These guys that don't want the job, right? It is what it is. They're doing a thorough, exhaustive search. Names are becoming available every day. More competition is becoming available. Todd Monken not going to the Giants, Todd Monken going to the Browns to be the Browns head coach. That opens up another offense coordinator spot with the Giants. 18, 19 offensive coordinators will be new in the NFL next year. If we are going to continue to be a running team, then hit up the Harbaugh tree or the Stanford head coach. Look, it was a little nugget there from Jeff McClain yesterday that Jeff Stoutland had the run game coordinator role taken from him this year. What do we make of that? Okay? They want to be a run team. That's where their strength lies. But the run game coordinator lost his job mid-season. Okay? It proves that the Eagles like to keep things in-house. It proves that people like to, or they like to not give out too much information, right? They were trying to fix things last year. It didn't work. So all this talk that Jeff Stoutland as the run game coordinator is why the OC search has stalled isn't even true. What's going on with gold? It's up to what? I have no idea. I don't track that kind of stuff. It's gold being up is really, yeah, look. I don't know. Okay. Who tracks that stuff? Not me. I have no clue. I don't pay attention to stocks or any of that. That's the wife's job. The wife's job is to keep a track of our investments. Put that 401k in cash for about 3 months. Oh, man. We're not doing stocks and investment advice on this show, okay? Or better yet, buy pork bellies and frozen concentrated orange juice. Oh, my God. Look, we don't talk about that, okay? That almost falls into the politics. That's scary dancing around a political comment, talking about things crashing, okay? Like that. Or the prices fluctuating. Scary close, and we don't do politics. We stick to sports, okay? My wife's in charge of all of it. We stick to sports talk. No matter how dumb or how frustrating it is, we stick to sports talk on this show. Stick to sports talk on this channel. Nothing else. No currency, no investment advice, no political talk, no religion. We stick to sports, okay? So, Phil, what do you think about – stop. When we just touched what? I don't even know what that means. Anyway, stop. Telling you're taking – that's not good. You're up there in age too, Robert. You can't be falling. Falling's bad. Us old people, we fall. It hurts. It hurts bad. Anyway, get back to it. Let's get back to it. Let's check in on the poll question of the day. What could Adam Schefter have been hinting at? Lane Johnson's retirement, 6%. Vic Fangio retirement, 19%. A new stadium, 31%. And 44% other. And I haven't gotten any realistic answers from anybody that voted other on what the other could be. And I'm not sure what the other could be or what else is in play at that position, at that spot, with that rumor. But we'll see. We'll see. I would be shocked if it's anything but the stadium. I'd be shocked if the Sixers traded for Daryl Morey, and I would be shocked if the Phillies went out and traded or signed any other big name that is available out there. I think Eugenio Suarez is available now. Ketel Marte is still technically on the trade block. I'd be shocked if anything big, bold, or crazy happens in Philly sports in the next week. What's going to happen in the next week, you're going to find out that Sean Mannion is the next offense coordinator or Jim Bob Cooter. You're going to find out about a new stadium, and we're just going to continue to roll with what we got. The Sixers are going to make trades, but they're going to make trades to get under the luxury tax, and that's it. We are 2 weeks away from May Darnold is greater than Hurts. Chase Daniels is watering at the mouth as we speak. Look, I'm excited for the May Darnold Super Bowl. I'm rooting for Seattle and Sam Darnold. But yes, Chase Daniels is drooling to drop Jalen Hurts outside of his top 30 list of quarterbacks as we speak. He's already got next year's quarterback list done up. In fact, I might start the quarterback list soon too. Put a little bit more time and effort into thinking about it. But yeah, I get it. I'm excited though. I really, truly am for the Super Bowl. I know on paper it doesn't sound exciting, Patriots, Seahawks, especially to a Philly fan base. But I think it's going to be a damn good Super Bowl. My burner's leash got caught around my foot as he was sprinting. I ended up getting destroyed. My hand was numb for a month. Damn, that sucks. Phil had a structured settlement, but he needs silver now. Call JG Wentworth at 877 I need cash now, or whatever it is. I'm imaging Phil in a Viking helmet. Why? Why me in a Viking helmet? McCain's at that 8-week point. I think he needed. I am no longer grading the dude on a curve. Well, we'll see tonight. The Kings are in town tonight. How he could follow up his performance. Did the confidence build like it should have? Has he gained more confidence like a game like the other night should have given him? We will find out tonight. We will see tonight where he's at. But the last night's game was very encouraging. Other being Howie extension. It very well could be. I thought you were joking when you said that. That's why I wrote down Howie extension in my notes to Google, okay? If his contract's coming up soon, within the next year or two, that very well could be what it is. Wouldn't be shocked if an extension is that, Adam Schefter phrased it perfectly. To create controversy, but leave it open-ended, that it could literally be anything. Because of the J.G. Wentworth, dun, 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 cash now. I can't remember all the words from the commercial, but it's one of those commercials that you never forget, right? It's really got to be. You know what? I'm not even going to wait to Google it, search it. Howie Roseman contract details. Let's just Google it and see what happens. Howie Roseman, the contract. No, that's not that. Contract. I don't want that's just bringing up how he structures contracts. I cannot find this. Interesting. A quick Google search on contracts does not bring much up. Drake May sucks in the playoffs, but if you ask Chase Daniel, he'll tell you he's a superstar. Look, yeah. Drake May's in his second year, right? If Jalen Hurts didn't get any credit for win or getting to a Super Bowl in the second year, Drake May shouldn't either. But Drake May, to me, it's tough because I was very down on Drake May coming in this year. I didn't think Drake May was that special coming in this year. I don't think Drake May beat any really great teams this year, at least enough of them. But I think he's trending in the right direction. 877 cash now. That's right. Yeah, I probably need cash now. You guys are crazy. You take the weirdest things and just run with it. NFL did Bill Belichick dirty. That shit is embarrassing for the Shield. We talked about it a little bit yesterday, Marshawn. We can definitely talk about it more today. It is crazy. Cray. That Bill Belichick is not getting into the Hall of Fame. Now, I have done more research into it since yesterday. Now, the rules for voters are very weird. You get 5 votes. Like in MLB, you can vote for 10 guys, right? You get 5 votes. Okay? Only 3 in the coaching and executive and whatnot, you only can vote for 3 guys, I believe is what it is. There's only 50 voters. You got to get 40 of them to get in. So maybe there's just people thought other people deserved it more. I don't know. Or more people deserved it on this ballot. I don't know. But there is no world in whatsoever that the coach with the second most wins of all time, 8 Super Bowls, 6 head coach, is not a first ballot. And it's not because of Deflategate. It's not because of Spygate. It's simply Bill Belichick did not get in for 2 reasons. 1, he's an asshole, especially to the media. And 2, because he's got a hotter girl than they do. Okay? If you're into that thing. His personality is what is keeping him out of the Hall of Fame for 1 year. Camera's out. My camera is not out. All right? My camera is not going out once. Okay? All the way left over is Sirianni. All the way left, other is Sirianni extension. Didn't Sirianni just get an extension last year? So I don't think a Sirianni extension is it. I'm pretty sure he got an extension last year because he signed a 5-year contract. That'll be 21, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, so he signed it after last year, the extension. So there's that. It's just like yesterday we had a Painter 5.49 ERA. Great, sure. All right. Andrew Painter's season last year, to me, in my opinion, was simply one thing. It was an extended spring training. And we don't count spring training stats So why would we count Andrew Painter? He was just working on his fastball, working on his slider some games, working on situation. That's it. I bet Brady was behind Bill Belichick getting stiffed. Maybe. Tom Brady. The thing is, there's so much more than his cheating scandals. Because if you blame the cheating scandals, then Tom Brady wouldn't be getting in, right? So you know what? It's got to be some other conspiracy. It has to be. He got to find ace. Yeah. Hall of Fame should be voted by players, coaches. I think at this point, there's enough people in the Hall of Fame where Hall of Famers should vote on Hall of Famers, right? Players, coaches, anybody that holds an agenda. I think there should be an analytic. I hate analytics, Rick. I think analytics should be drawn up on how you get in the Hall of Fame. If you're a coach, you've got to have X amount of wins, X amount of titles, X amount of winning percentage, whatever, right? A player. Pick a player. A football player, a quarterback. X amount of wins, X amount of touchdowns, X amount of interceptions. There's got to be a formula. And that gets you on the ballot. And then Hall of Famers choose after that. Thank you very much, Chet and Bill. Muchas gracias. I beat you guys to it. 14 months, and you guys have been going at it for 10 years? Boom. Love it, though. Thank you very much. It's a big accomplishment to me. Means a lot to me. That 1,000 number, man. I don't know why. But for some reason, that 1,000 number validates what I've been grinding to here for a while now. So, means a lot to me to hit it. Maybe the new Saquon Barkley is retiring. You know, I would believe Saquon could potentially call it a career. Probably not, but I wouldn't be utterly shocked. I doubt he'd leave the money on the table, though. 70-year-old man with a hot female co-ed, my dream life. I mean, it's a win, right? You got to tell me that somebody's jealous out there with it, right? You can't tell me that there's a 100% guarantee that one voter didn't say, you know what? I'm jealous of that man. I'm not putting him on my list. It's totally believable, Minnesota. Phil W., thank you. Chet in the chat is always more popular than me on your screens. Very true. I can't afford it either. Yeah, exactly. We underrate Painter at this point. Drool for Harrison Bader, though. Look. Underrate Painter? I don't know. I still have Andrew Painter pretty high on my list on what he is going to be capable of doing. Good morning to you as well, Chet, by the way. Who the F is more deserving than Bill? And I hate the Pats, but Bill deserves better. Absolutely. And I'm glad you put it all in caps locks. Because, yeah, who the fuck is more deserving than Bill Belichick? I don't care that he didn't win after Tom Brady left, okay? I don't care. It was easier for Tom Brady to win after leaving. The whole team the Patriots had was built around Tom Brady. He leaves. Of course they were going to hit some drops in, performance, right? Brady just went somewhere else that was already built pretty well. I see Saquon playing out the last year of his contract. Let's entertain your theory for a second. Do we extend Tank Bigsby in that situation? Yeah, absolutely. Tank Bigsby's available. I think Tank Bigsby will be a bigger part of this team. He's under contract next year. I think we'll have a bigger role on this team next year. I do have the list of complete free agents down. I'm ready to start doing the sign them or keep them or let them go. We're getting there. Guys, like, subscribe, share, please. It's Chet in the chat. It's Chet in the chat sounds like a late 80s, early 90s sitcom. And putting the music around it, I could totally see it. Him at his desk, he slides around and does the stop screen smile to the camera with his name at the bottom. Sounds like an 80s TGI Friday sitcom, right? The NBA is not all that in love with Phil Jackson, but they will never do that shit to Phil. It's a great point. It's a great point, bringing Phil Jackson into the comparison. Say you could throw what's his name? Why am I drawing a blank on names so much today? On what's his name from the Spurs? Why can't I think of the Spurs coach? The name's right there. I can see him limping off he was walking with crutches the other day. If you did that, you'd have too many old MFers demanding more playing time so they could get in. Don't think that wouldn't happen. With analytics, you got to reach certain things, so you'd want to play longer. Maybe. I understand that. I understand that thought process. Patriots signed Eagles legend Patrick Johnson. They did. Look at that. Patrick Johnson going to play in the Super Bowl. Well, maybe. He'll be on the practice squad at least. Patrick Johnson getting a Super Bowl ring? Milton Williams getting another Super Bowl ring? Did Patrick Johnson get a Super Bowl ring for last year? I think he did. Hurts played like he called it a career. Stop. You need Chet in the chat music. There's got to be some kind of cheesy 80s song that goes with Chet in the chat. Greg Popovich, what's wrong with me this morning? My brain is not clear this morning. Not at all. That's a third name the third obvious name that I could not get off my tongue there. I don't know what's wrong with me there. I do know one thing though. Pitches, they come and go. Pitchers come and go. Get entrance music for Chet. There we go. There's some entrance music for Chet in the chat. Okay. Back in Black by AC/DC. Yeah, I bet you Chet has been to an AC/DC concert at some point in his life. I'm sure of it. Okay. Have another gummy memory. I didn't have any gummies. For better memory, I chew nicotine gum. What? I don't know about that. Anyway, we're well past the top of the hour. It's just after 9 a.m. in the morning. This is Trending in the AM. If you're watching this on replay, thank you very much. Please like, share, subscribe, drop your comments. Guys, we've got about 25, 30 minutes left today. We're going to continue talking these rumors surrounding the Eagles. We're going to continue the OC search. We're going to continue the Bill Belichick Sixers play tonight. We're going to consider or talk it all. It's all on the table. I know the Flyers. You can't get too deep into the Flyers, but you can give me general. I know the Flyers lost last night. I turned it on the final 5 minutes of the game, final 2 minutes of the game. They already had an empty net with 2.5 left when I turned it on. So it is what it is. Let's go. So you enjoyed my music? Here, we got more music. We could go a little Kenny G. Chet may have been in more places in 1 week than some go in a lifetime. That man about town tag that people have, that works for Chet. It definitely does. 100%. Don't get popped. Popped for what? Anyway, back to the conversation. Back to the rumor mill, right? There's going to be rumors, okay? Oh, hold on. We got an Andrew Painter comment. Over under more losses, Taiwan or Painter? Probably Andrew Painter. Why? Because Andrew Painter is going to start 30 games this year. Taiwan Walker, 25 games this year. Taiwan Walker is going to start 5 or 6 games and then go back to the pen. And then maybe come out of the pen when injuries happen. The odds are Taiwan Walker starts half the amount of games that Painter does. So Painter's going to have the opportunity to have more losses, obviously. Seen AC/DC 3 times, 79, yes. You're that old, 90 and 2008. I'll see them this coming September again. Nice. I have never seen AC/DC in concert. I've seen a lot of rock and roll bands, but I've never seen AC/DC in concert. Not even at any festivals or events or anything like that. I don't know if I'd want to see them now. I don't know if I can handle big concerts anymore with crowds and stuff. Sixers need way better bench consistency if they're going to do anything serious this year, health aside. Absolutely. And my answer to that, Nooms, and it's a very unpopular opinion, but is Dominic Barlow needs to go back to the starting lineup, and Kelly Oubre needs to come off the bench. Oubre as your top bench scorer is way better than Oubre, your 5th best option, offensively speaking, in the starting rotation. Oubre should come off the bench. You got plenty of guys in that starting lineup that can score. You can still have Oubre part of the final 4 minutes of the game on the floor. It's not who starts, it's who finishes, right? So you get your guys to start. Maxey, Edgecombe, Embiid and Paul George are plenty of offense, out there. But you get Oubre coming off the bench. Now you got that offensive spark on the bench. That's what I would do. Make sure they are royalty-free versions. It's just sound bites on my thing. What a question. YouTube is brutal about that. I know. I know they are. Phil, the 40-year-old boomer would be a great sitcom. Yeah, it would be. They should trade Grimes and Oubre. I don't know about trading Oubre. I'm not sure. I wouldn't be against it. But what are you getting? I think you're going to see Andre Drummond and Eric Gordon traded absolutely in the coming, 7 days till the deadline. Definitely those two guys get traded, which is crazy because we need Drummond's rebounding, but whatever. Grimes, I don't know. Jimmy Buffett 14 times. I only saw Jimmy Buffett twice. I was obviously I'm a huge Buffett guy. I got the Buffett tattoo, on my arm there. But I was a late bloomer with Jimmy Buffett. I didn't see Jimmy Buffett for the first time until I was 24, 25 years old. And then the pizza shop came and concerts were put on the back burner. My biggest concert going, I've been probably close to 20 times, Dave Matthews. About 7 or 8 times, Billy Joel. They're my top 2. Van Morrison, 3 or 4 times. Next on that list. Benny and the Jets. Philly and the Chet. There you go. The NBA loves Pop and the Spurs. Wemby was never going to be a Piston, Wizard, or Hornet, even if they had a better draft odds than the Spurs. The NBA will always take care of the Spurs. I get it. But he definitely, media votes on, the reason why I threw Popovich's name, they're not going to hold him back like, Bill Belichick, and they're not holding Phil Jackson back. Look, Popovich was an ass. Plain and simple. He was. To the media, and the media has control over this. Good morning. Yes, what's happening? Saw Ozzy 5 or 6 times. That would be a good one to have seen. It would. Dave Matthews 20 times is saw. Look, I was a classic, middle-class white boy in college. One weekend, he played 3 shows at the Vet. I believe it was like 99. I think it was 99. Maybe it was 2000. He played 3 shows on a Friday, Saturday, Sunday at the Vet. It had The Roots and Santana as his opening act. We lived in the parking lot of the Vet for 3 days in the back of my van and went to all 3 shows. I was a Dave Matthews guy back in the day. Now, I'm not as big into him now. I haven't seen him probably in 25 years in concert. But, man, back in the day, I was all Dave Matthews. It is. Looking back, it is. But back then, you couldn't have told me anything that I was crazy at all. But the NBA will never disrespect Phil the way the NFL disrespected Bill. That's true, and it's fine. They didn't disrespect Pop. They're not going to disrespect Pop either. But that's what I'm getting into. Like, there's got to be agendas in play. There's got to be somebody rubbed the wrong way why Bill Belichick is not in the Hall of Fame. Honestly, I read a report, or I read a title of a report or a post which had an article. I didn't click on the article, so I'll read the whole thing. But it was a report that the NFL is going to investigate the voting process because they realize how insane it is that he's not in the Hall of Fame. Grizzlies owned by Hornets. Nobody in the chat outside of you cares about the Charlotte Hornets or the Memphis Grizzlies. Just so you know, nobody cares. We're up to 21 votes. Other is still winning the poll at 38%, but a new stadium is climbing. Lane Johnson retirement is gaining steam in the vote, too. Almost 20% of the vote is gone to Lane Johnson retiring. Could you imagine if the breaking news, and it probably won't be the breaking news. I firmly believe Lane Johnson wouldn't want to go out how 2025 went for him. But could you imagine how devastating it would be to the Eagles if Lane Johnson retired right now with no heir apparent in place? Howie Roseman would need to be trading up in the draft this year to get the best right tackle in the draft, who I don't know who that is. But, man, Lane Johnson not trying to give it one more year would be absolutely brutal for the Eagles over the next 2 to 3 years, not just this year. Absolutely brutal. Do you a favor. What kind of favor do you want me to do? Not trash talk your Charlotte Hornets? My apologies. My apologies on trash talking your Charlotte Hornets. I don't know why you like the Charlotte Hornets. But Lane Johnson retiring, maybe You know, I know everybody wants to bring Mekhi Becton back. But Mekhi Becton and Tyler Steen isn't solving a Lane Johnson problem on the right side. It would be absolutely brutal. Sorry, there we go. Realistically, how much longer does Lane have? Honestly, realistically, nothing. Like, his body is breaking down, no doubt about it. When he played this year, he still was good. But even before he sat out the rest of the year, he was missing time each game, getting banged up, right? Before last year, he said he had 2 to 3 years. That would mean this upcoming year or the following, 26 or 27, would be in his mind as last year, right? He's, 37, 38 years old, or will be this year. He doesn't have much time left. So the whole plan in my mind was to get one more year out of him while you draft his replacement, right? But, man, maybe mentally. You know he's got issues mentally. Maybe the recovery this time is just too much. Maybe his body isn't recovering the way he wants it to. Maybe he's like, look, I want to have quality of life. My body's breaking down. I think he's done after game. So this is crazy. What's up, Vess? How you doing today? He says he's coming back and then retires a quarter of the way through the season. That would be even more brutal than him retiring right now. Crazy. I wouldn't want that. I'd rather him retire now than halfway through the season. Yeah, cousin. My cousins don't convince me who to root for. I root for who I want. Al, you need a meeting and 12 steps, dude. What? What was Al's last comment? Dave Matthews 20 times. So we need to draft the right tackle regardless. We absolutely need a right tackle. With picks first, second, or third round, most likely first or second round will be a right tackle. There's almost no doubt that one of the first 2, maybe 3 picks will be a right tackle for the Eagles. I don't think there's any way around that as being part of the conversation. It's got to be, right? No doubt about it, it's got to be. Okay? Hey, we gained another subscriber. We're up to 1,005. We're only 995 away from 2,000 now. No doubt about it. It's how much if Lane Johnson's retiring, it's got to be a first-round pick, a guy that you could step in and start day one. If he stayed for another year, maybe you could take a chance in the second or third round and have Lane and Stout develop him. But it can't be like last year where we drafted a bunch of guys in the 6th, 7th round, picked up a bunch of undrafted free agents, and try to develop them. It's got to be a guy that for sure can play. Bill Belichick should definitely have gotten it. Absolutely. 1,000%, Robert. In which case Lane should retire now rather than go out on a cart in the middle of the season. Absolutely. And that very well could be Lane Johnson's thinking. Look, I could give it another shot, but my body's telling me I don't have much time. So instead of having this situation play out and hurting the franchise I played my entire career with and hurting the franchise that I love so dearly, I'm going to call it a career now so they have a better opportunity to properly replace me. This very well could be what Lane Johnson says if he does retire. If that's the breaking news that's going to be coming that Adam Schefter's talking about. If anybody's retiring or getting fired or traded, if it's not the new stadium, I really think it's a new stadium. But if it's not the new stadium announcement coming, the most next likely option or thing it could be is the Lane Johnson retirement. It would crush me, but it's better that it happens now than mid-season. I don't like Belichick, but he is a first-round Hall of Fame coach. Numbers don't lie, and you need to put it into context, then do so. Look, I agree. I don't like Bill Belichick either. He's an asshole. But you can't have a Hall of Fame without the greatest coach of all time in it. What's up, Zach? How you doing this morning? Eagles are winning the Super Bowl next year. I hope so. I mean, I can't make a prediction before this Super Bowl is over. They've got a lot of work to do, but I have confidence in Nick Sirianni, Jalen Hurts, and Howie Roseman to get this team back on path next year. I do. Lane Johnson ran out of rehab time, nothing more, nothing less. The stuff they put in people's head. Very well could be true, Nooms. Very well could be true. but it's more realistic of an option than a Vic retiring or a Saquon Barkley retiring. The guy's 37 years old. He's coming to the end. Whether it's right now, 6 months from now, or 2 years from now, he's coming towards the end. Did the rehab put too much strain on him mentally? And he's like, you know what, enough's enough. The drugstore ran out of me. That why Kelsey got his body was breaking down. Yeah, Kelsey could have played another year or two. Kelsey could have hung in there and half-assed it for another year or two. But Kelsey said, I want quality of life, and my body's saying it's too much at this point. I'm trying to read your last comment. I don't know. I wouldn't put money on it. I don't know. It's all speculation at this point. There's some pretty good offensive linemen. I think the Eagles should select a tackle for the first pick. I don't know about it. Look, no, Zach, I would draft an offensive lineman or a defensive lineman. If I was a GM of any football team, my first-round pick every year would be O-line or D-line, right? Unless I needed a quarterback, and I wouldn't select a quarterback if I didn't have an offensive line in place. But if I had an offensive line in place and I needed a quarterback, I would select a quarterback. Only if I really, really like the prospect. But outside of that, it's always O-line, D-line for me. That's my philosophy. You build in the trenches, and then you build out. That's what you do, in my opinion, right? That's how you build a successful team. Look at all the teams playing every year in Super Bowls. They all have great O-lines or D-lines or both. But if Lane Johnson retires, you almost can't even wait till where the Eagles pick 23, 22. You can't wait even till 22, 23. I haven't done a deep enough dive into the draft. I know there'll be left tackles and right tackles there at 23. But if you're losing Lane Johnson before the start of the season, let me tell you something. You better trade up to the top 10 and get the best tackle in the game or in the draft. We don't need a quarterback, probably because we got, I was going to say it, yeah, because we have Tanner McKay. I have a suspicion the next right tackle we get is through the John Runyon route. Okay? We signed him, right? He wasn't a draft pick. I forget at what point of his career, how old Runyon was when we got him, though. If you want the next Lane Johnson, it would definitely have to be a first-round pick. Absolutely. You're not getting the next Lane Johnson in round 5, right? Honestly, the news is probably Jalen Carter getting an extension. Look, Jalen Carter and Jordan Davis are up for extensions. And honestly, they both should get their extensions, and both of them deserve their extensions. I think Jalen Carter's extension might be a little lower than we expect, or than we expected originally. But yeah, both definitely are going to happen at this offseason at some point. I know. I saw your first comment, and I'm like, he's got to be leading to a Tanner McKee joke here. Got to be. Marshawn, I really, truly think out of the core chat over the last year or two, I think you go back the furthest with me. I really do. I know you're the only one that was part of the DSM days from the beginning. You might have even been part of the AAT Birds days, but you're definitely the longest tenured Phil supporter. I'm almost positive of that. Jalen Carter's my favorite Eagle right now. I mean, Jalen Hurts is mine. I don't even know if Jalen Carter would be in my top 5 favorite Eagles, but I love the guy. I'm not losing faith in Jalen Carter because he had a down season this year. He had a lot of injuries. He tried to play through those injuries. I'm shocked he didn't have surgery already to continue repairing what he played with. It would be Howie telling the fan base and media to be patient. He will invest and play rookies in the offense. Look, Howie Roseman already said that, okay? And it's something I'm planning on working around a conversation, at some point here soon. He said don't get nervous. He said there's going to have to be sacrifice. He's the natural arc of the team and transition of a team when you've got so many talented young players, okay? You don't want to lose them, but you're going to lose players. Howie Roseman already hinted at that, 2 weeks ago at their press conference with Nick Sirianni. Adam was part of the AAT Birds days for sure as well. They still do something. I don't know what, though. Runyon was signed after year 4, so he was coming off his rookie contract when we brought him in. Okay, I know we didn't draft him. I couldn't remember what part of his career he was at when we brought him in. The ferocity Carter plays with is unmatched. Yeah, he's got to learn to mature a little bit, obviously. He can't get kicked out of games for spitting at people. He's got to mature as a player and a leader, absolutely. But, yeah, Jalen Carter is still, there are people saying he's no longer going to get considered as one of those dominant Aaron Donald type defensive tackles. I think it's nonsense. Do I still want Nick Sirianni as head coach? Of course I do. Why wouldn't I? Nick Sirianni has piloted this organization through its most successful run in the history of the organization. Nick Sirianni, Jalen Hurts, and Howie Roseman, are they perfect? No. But the last 5 years has been the greatest run we've ever had as Eagles fans. Why would we want to change that, right? We ride that till the wheels fall off. You got to. You got to ride it till the end. Till the wheels fall off. Do I think Nick Sirianni will be on a leash next year? Yes. Will it be a short leash? No. Will they, if we start 2-2 next year, will they talk about firing Nick Sirianni? People will, but the organization won't. Now, if we go 7-11, 7-10 next year and miss the playoffs, yeah, Nick Sirianni might be on the chopping block. But as long as he keeps making playoffs, he's got a few years left in his run with the Eagles at least still. And you don't want AJ. That's crazy. I didn't say I don't want AJ Brown. Never said I don't want AJ Brown. I have said on, it's documented. I've said that you are going to make a big mistake trading AJ Brown. Now, if you get proper value, a first-round pick, a second-round pick, and a starting player, it will be hard to say no. I have said that the dead cap hit won't stop them from trading him, okay? They will trade him for value, and that's it. But you are going to see a serious downtick in wide receiver play here if you lose A.J. Brown. A.J. Browns do not grow on trees. That's what I've said about A.J. Brown. I know there's Eagles fans in this chat that want A.J. gone, for sure, okay? I am not trading. I saw a report. I don't know if it was ESPN or The Athletic. Some reporter out there put a report out there, what they, talking to anonymous executives, what they think A.J. Brown's value would be. And they said a value would be a 5th or 6th round pick this year and a conditional 3rd in 2027. There is zero way whatsoever that Howie Roseman would trade A.J. Brown for a 3rd and a 5th. There's no way. And if that's what his value is on the open market, well, we're going to deal with more A.J. Brown drama next year. And that's fine. As long as we win, I can deal with drama as long as we're winning. For sure. And who's going to play wide receiver without A.J. Brown? Eagles are 0-0 right now, and people are talking fire Sirianni. Exactly. That's true. It's very true. There are Eagles fans that want that to be what Adam Schefter was talking about. Eagles fans think that they're going to fight. Eagles fans think that through this offensive coordinator search, that Howie Roseman and Jeffrey Lurie, while they're in the interviews with Nick Sirianni, because all three of them and Jeffrey Lurie's son are in these interviews, that Jeffrey Lurie and Howie Roseman are like looking at each other in these interviews, having like little subliminal messages back and forth. Oh, damn, we got to get rid of this guy. He's an idiot. Carter's the ceiling, but I think Davis may wind up possibly with a longer career. Sounds a little goofy to think, but no, I don't think it's goofy. I think they both could have long careers. I think Davis will have a better career than we originally thought. But yeah, I see what you're saying. The only reason not to trade AJ is all monetary. No, it's all return. You could deal with the dead cap hit. Even all this year, $43 million this year, you could deal with it. There were 3 teams with over $100 million in dead cap this year. One of them is in the Super Bowl. Seattle had over $100 million in dead cap. We got 40 on the books. You tack 43 more million. You know how you could save $20 million in dead cap space? Is by extending Dallas Goedert. Dallas Goedert's on the books for $20 million in dead cap this upcoming season. If he's not on the team, extend him. That goes away. I don't even want to say it out loud. I don't want to say it out loud. AJ with Brandon Ayuk. Yeah, let's trade one disgruntled wide receiver for another disgruntled. How do we trade AJ to the Pats for Gonzalez in a third? I would say yes to Gonzalez in a second. Now, I did put this on Twitter, and a Patriots reporter responded saying the Patriots would never give up Gonzalez in an A.J. Brown trade. That was a Patriots beat reporter, I forget which one, responded to one of my posts about this. 18 likes. We're slowly getting there. Guys, if you haven't, hit the like button, subscribe, share this out. 1,005. 1005. So happy. We can all dream. Yeah, I mean, dreams, sure. Is Joe Douglas still with the team? He is. I know he took a few interviews late last week, early this week, for somebody's GM job. I forget what GM job he interviewed for, but he's still around. David Shaw would really fit well here. I'll write it down. I got to think about that. Let me write that one down. Yeah, man, Carter is the new Aaron Donald. I said this before he was drafted. That dude is an absolute adult. You need to at least 3 guys to guard him. He's unable. He's very the best. I'm not sure what you meant there at the bottom, but I get what you're saying. Yeah, I mean, Jalen Carter, people are going to say he had a down year, that we shouldn't give him an extension yet. You get him signed, you get him locked up, you keep him happy. Jalen Carter's still a beast. Jalen Carter played injured all year long, okay? So you know what? Jalen Carter was going to have a down year playing with those injuries, especially coming off the snap counts. I would, if anything, I'd love the Eagles to see the Eagles find a way to keep him not on the field 98% of the snaps, 100% of the snaps like he has in the past. My goal would be, my expectation would be, keep him at 75% of snaps, 68% of snaps. That way he's healthy and fresh for the playoffs, right? This isn't my day power. Oh, jeez. We lucked out so far with no power outages through this ice and storms. Getting Phil to move that pencil should be a daily goal for people. What pencil? This isn't a pencil. This is a pen. Do I have a pencil somewhere? This pencil? You want me to move this pencil? Okay. Or do you want me to move this pencil? Or this pen? Why do I have 4 pencils down here? I have no idea why I have 4 pencils down here. He's unblock able. You need at least 3 guys to guard him, and that makes room for the auto tackle to get. Yeah, look. Yeah, I get it. I get what you're saying. I do. I get it. Jalen Carter's elite. Jalen Carter's special. I don't think anybody doubts Jalen Carter's special. I think you'll have arguments made just to make sure they don't overpay him. Do you think Nakobe Dean is here next year? I don't think he's here next year. Okay? I think he's going to be a Dallas Cowboy next year. I really think the first thing Christian Parker is going to ask Jerry Jones for, as the defensive coordinator of the Cowboys now, is, go get me Nakobe Dean and Reed Blankenship to help me install my new defensive plan here in Dallas. Go get me 2 guys that know my system, that'll help me teach it. I don't want him to not be here. I definitely don't want him on the Dallas Cowboys, but it makes way too much sense. And you've got John Campbell. Say what you will about him, whatever. And you've got Zach Bond for a couple more years. Nakobe Dean is not coming back. Breaks my heart, especially if he goes to Dallas. But, man, I don't. He's on my list. We're going to talk a lot about this in the coming days now. Getting you to write something down. What? What? I mean, I write things down all show long. I've got 5 things written down this show. I'm always doing that. So we're going to extend Jordan Davis. We absolutely are extending Jordan Davis this offseason. It's absolutely happening. It's absolutely coming sooner rather than later. You can't let him leave the building. You've got to pay him even top money. Who? Nakobe Dean? Yeah, he's leaving. He's got it. There's no path forward for him. On the Eagles, that is. Financially speaking, the dude's going to get paid. Even with him coming off an injury. Even with him struggling in the playoffs there. Nakobe Dean's going to get paid. Maybe not top linebacker money, but more than we can afford. We got like $20 million in cap space, plus whatever the cap raises this year, plus however it raises with any of the renegotiations that Howie Roseman does. There's going to be cap space, but you got so many people to sign. Like, I've literally got I've got the list of free agents right here. There are 21 of the 53 players on the Eagles roster are free agents. A lot of backups and a bunch of starters. There are 21 of 53 players free agents. You can't keep them all. That's why the Eagles don't play their stars in preseason. Absolutely. Injuries. 100%. Once the weightlifting shoulder syndrome starts for DT, it's a sign you need to change things and that the double teams are taking their toll. Maybe that affects his contract. Maybe. Oh, Jim Carter. No, they would never let him walk. But instead of maybe $140 million, maybe he gets $130 million this year. I don't know. But they'll have negotiations with him. There's no doubt that whatsoever. All right, we're getting to the end of the show today. It's past the 9:30 mark. What's on tap? Maybe. I really truly believe that when we are live tomorrow, we will be talking about Jim Bob Cooter or Sean Mannion as the Eagles' next offensive coordinator and what's next. I really truly believe that. And if that's the case, then we will go through the Eagles' free agents on offense to see who we should keep and who we shouldn't keep. All right? We should know, in my opinion, by tomorrow morning who the Eagles' OC is going to be. I would be shocked if they do not make an announcement around 4 or 5 o'clock tonight. We have come to terms with an agreement on one of these two guys. I really think that that's where we're headed, and I feel like that's what we'll be talking about tomorrow. Obviously, there's a Sixers game tonight as well. Sixers, Sacramento Kings. We'll see what the Sixers look like after their dominating performance 2 nights ago. We'll see. Should I go live for tonight's game? I don't know. Maybe I should do a Sixers watch party. I mean, keep building, keep going. I don't know. Let me see their schedule. When will be the next Sixers watch party? We got tonight, then we got Saturday night at 7:30. Maybe I'll do a Saturday night Sixers watch party. Go buy a bottle of bourbon. We'll do bourbon and basketball on Saturday night, maybe. But anyway, time to wrap this baby up. Time to say goodbye for the day. I watch them all the time. I'm a Sixers guy. I'm a Phillies guy. I'm a Flyers guy. I'm a Union guy. Can't get enough of our Philly sports teams, man. Never can get enough. But anyway, we're going to wrap this baby up. Thank you one more time for helping me get to 1,000 subscribers. Like, subscribe, share. We're at 1,005. The march to 2,000 begins. Can we do that in under a year? What should be the goal? What should be my goal to get to 2,000 subscribers, huh? What should be my goal? I don't know. We'll have to set that goal soon. Anyway, everybody have a great day. Thanks for tuning in. Go Birds. Bubbles up.